So I'd like to officially welcome everybody, and we thank you for participating in today's webinar. We're really happy that you've joined us today, and we're excited to begin and share with you some important information that can help you in your procurement. My name is Felicia Campbell, and we also have with us Kim Boulevant. We're both marketing managers for the CoStars program. And as I mentioned earlier, if you have any questions during the presentation, just open your chat window and type your message in and hit send. As you can see, we're here to talk about Procurated today, and in our Procurement Expo last year, they were the winner of the most innovative company at that expo. As procurement professionals, we are all aware that there is no easy button for procurement. There is a process within procurement, and there are rules and regulations that we must abide by. In addition, you need to do the legwork to locate the supplier who carries the supplies and services that you need. You also need to ensure that you're receiving competitive pricing and the best value for your spend. Even when you've located a supplier with good pricing, how do you determine this supplier is going to provide quality service? All of this process takes time and energy. As a member of CoStars, you have the benefit of being in control over your purchasing strategy and decision making. The CoStars program helps you to manage your budget as well as time investment by providing our members with quality products and services through our authorized suppliers. Being a CoStars member, you know that purchasing through the CoStars program reduces the amount of time you spend on procurement, allowing you to invest more time on other important tasks. The CoStars program can save you time spent. Sorry, my clicker's not working. Reducing time spent in the public bidding process. Since purchases through the CoStars program satisfy the requirements of Chapter 19 of the Pennsylvania Procurement Code, members are able to purchase directly from CoStars and CoStars participating statewide contracts and make their purchasing decisions based on more than just cost. There may be other criteria important to our members, like preferred brands, supplier location, negotiations, and other value-added aspects. As a CoStars member, you have flexibility in your purchasing decisions. Members may purchase from 36 multi-vendor CoStars exclusive contracts, as well as piggyback on over 100 statewide CoStars participating contracts for their procurement needs. CoStars members have access to easy-to-use portals to search by various criteria to find suppliers who offer the supplies and services that they need. Also, member procurement costs can be reduced by purchasing through CoStars. It's estimated that for transactions over the $21,300 threshold, a member invests approximately $3,600 in the public bidding process. And that $3,600 is comprised of advertising costs, administrative costs, and attorney's fees. By not being required to go through the public bidding process, this $3,600 can be applied to the hard costs of the project at hand. CoStars contracts are competitively priced, and the pricing on the contracts is the ceiling price for both large and small ticket items. Members are able to negotiate with suppliers to ensure the best value for their spend. CoStars exclusive contracts also allow for customization, so member purchases fully fit their needs of the products being purchased. The members most successful in securing best value in purchasing use negotiations paired with their supplier quotes to help drive their preferred supplier's pricing down. These members are also skilled in using customization as a negotiation tactic. For example, if they're purchasing a vehicle and they want the winterization package with the winter tires and winter floor mats, they might suggest this add-on as a complimentary upgrade in the purchase or at a discounted cost to help them save money. Members can also have peace of mind when purchasing through CoStars that they'll be dealing with qualified suppliers who have been vetted. The CoStars exclusive contracts are awarded to responsive and responsible suppliers. They must communicate in a timely manner with the DGS commodity specialist about their contract to be considered responsive. This requirement of responsiveness for suppliers also transfers to their communications with our members. And DGS also ensures that suppliers are in good standing with the Commonwealth to verify that they are responsible. Building on quality, members also have access to feedback from other members on their experience with suppliers. Procurated is a site where the procurement community can go to provide feedback on their experiences with suppliers, as well as gather performance information on suppliers that they might be interested in doing business with. Procurated is like Yelp for procurement professionals. The Department of General Services has built a relationship with the Procurated team to offer one more resource to our CoStars members to ensure peace of mind that they're gaining the best value for their spend. You may receive emails from Procurated to rate and write a review for suppliers that you've recently purchased from. We do encourage you to participate in this rating platform. Your feedback helps others while you gain insight from their experience. I look at this as a leave a penny, take a penny tray. Always give back, and then you shall receive as well. So because we're here to talk about Procurated today, we've invited Ellen Siegel, the Senior Director of Community, I almost called her Directory, Senior Director of Community Engagement with Procurated. And we're going to explore with her the platform and discuss best practices of using Procurated in your procurement process. Good morning, Ellen.
Good morning. I'm going to get my camera on here. There, y'all can see me, right?
Yep.
Well, thank you, Kim and Felicia. I appreciate that intro.
You're very welcome. And I've stopped sharing, so now you can start sharing your slides.
Excellent.
Hi. I just started playing music.
Can you all see the slides?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. So my name is Ellen Siegel, and I'm from Procurated this morning, and I really appreciate the opportunity to present to you all in this webinar this morning. Our Procurated and CoStars, CoStars was one of the very early adopters of the platform, and they've been very, very key in shaping what Procurated has been able to do for the Pennsylvania procurement community. So I'm going to do a few things this morning to show you where we're at with that relationship and that work. So this is the slide. To introduce myself, I am the Senior Director of Community Engagement, which means that my purpose is to make the platform available across the nation. We have many states adopting it all through the public sector, states, localities, cities, counties, K through 12 education, higher education, and nonprofits. We're working to make all of this content really, really relevant for your procurement community. And what we heard, the leave a penny, take a penny, is very true. And what you're going to see today is the value of all the pennies CoStars participants have left with the platform and what we've collectively been able to do with it. So it's my pleasure to be able to show that to you today. Also through the presentation, I appreciate that many of you are participating on behalf of a team. So I hope to give you sort of a value from each of these slides and a follow-up that you can share with your teams. Likewise, I think we can distribute these slides after the session a little bit later today so you can have them to share with your group as well. So from this slide, you're welcome to take my email address. I'd love to hear from you at any time. What you're going to find is that the platform is very, very interactive. Much of what we're showing you has been shaped by those of you in the procurement community. So feedback, questions, discussion is more than welcome at any time. So please keep my email address. I also think, I also want to recommend that you follow us on LinkedIn and other social media, because in addition to the content and the value of the platform itself, we have a very skilled and talented team that is developing podcasts, interviews, and articles, all focused on the procurement community. So all of those things are very interesting to sort of keep you abreast of what all of your coworkers are doing. I know we're all working through a time of isolation for many of us. There hasn't been a lot of training. So I would encourage you to put this tool in your toolbox as a way to stay in touch with all the members of your fellow community. And that means a lot these days. So moving forward, this is our introduction slide, a little bit text heavy, but it will help as a follow-up. I appreciate that some of you are brand new to the platform. This might be the first time you've heard of us, and yet others may have been participating for some time. Procurated was launched by David Yarkin, who is the former CPO of Pennsylvania. I live in Pennsylvania and I'm coming to you from Pennsylvania, so being able to present to the home team is a special privilege for me today. And David served as the CPO of our great state a few years ago. And when he was doing that work and serving in that capacity, he realized that there wasn't a great source for objective information on suppliers. If you ask suppliers for references, they tend to be cherry-picked, is the term that we use, because suppliers need to put the best reference forward. So the seed was planted. How might there be objective information for procurement professionals to use throughout their day? So as David left service to the Commonwealth directly and started to form a consulting company, and he began to travel in that job, he started to rely on things like TripAdvisor and Yelp to learn about the cities where he would be visiting. So where can I find a restaurant near the state capitol, and how good is that restaurant, in which Yelp would have been of value? So you can see where this story started to take form. So move ahead to about 2018, 2019, David had founded Procurated, and it is a platform that consolidates data on supplier performance, and all of that data comes from government and public sector procurement employees. So you're working within a closed community. The data and the reviews that you leave, it's a private community. It's only accessible to your government peers. So we take a lot of care in making sure the users are representing a government organization, and we keep the community closed so you have an objective space to share your experiences. The ratings and reviews from your procurement peers, you can learn them to either learn about a potential supplier. So if you're going to choose a supplier, which we'll look at later, you're going to get some idea on how others have worked with them and what experiences have they had. And you can factor that into your use of that supplier. We also really encourage you at any point in time to leave ratings and reviews on suppliers that you have worked with, your known suppliers. Leave that data and it will help your CoStars peers as well as your other procurement peers. The few minutes that you take to leave those ratings and reviews can really help take the risk out of someone else's purchase. And it also helps the suppliers, because I was a member of the supplier community for many years serving public sector. The more feedback we have on performance and the more you can give us ratings, the better we are able to serve you. So it's really a quality measure all the way around. So you should feel really good about the few minutes that you take to do that. Our goal is to relieve you of work and relieve you of unknown risk in a purchase, not to give you more work or more risk. So that is our purpose in developing and building the platform. As I mentioned, a private community accessible to government, education, and nonprofit employees, and it's also free to government users. So as you're watching today and you're thinking about adopting this platform in your own shop, you should know that it is free for use and there's no fees associated with it. So the Procurated CoStars partnership started, I believe, in late 2018. It's actually approaching a 2-year mark. So as I mentioned, the CoStars community was really out in front in embracing this platform. So the good news for that is that at this juncture, I can sit and present to you the progress that's been made. You all have worked very hard. Your community has participated, has given ratings and reviews, and there is data contributed to the platform at a very routine interval. So you're really out in front. So where are we at today? There's more than 2,300 reviewed suppliers serving in Pennsylvania. So across our Commonwealth, that means that there's more suppliers in the platform, but that number of suppliers has ratings and reviews. And you can see that I've rounded up my counts because these change by the day. As all of your peers are in producing ratings and reviews, by next week there'll be more of them. There are over nearly 12,000 ratings and reviews from the Pennsylvania community. So that's participation within our Commonwealth from your peers, and that's a great number and something to be proud of. So when you think of those first two bullet items, what we've been able to do because of this participation is we've been able to develop more function into the platform. We have what's called the supplier dashboard, or the contract comparison tool, and we're going to spend some time on that a little bit later, showing you how that works. So we've combined that data into a dashboard that will show you how each of the contracts and suppliers perform under that. So that's a pretty great advantage that you all have achieved there. The PA user community is growing every day. There's more folks joining the platform right at the URL at the bottom of each of these slides, claiming their user IDs and participating. So this is definitely growing across the Commonwealth. And in addition, one of the things that I get to do is roll this out across the country. So right now we have several states participating. You have peers in Michigan and Nebraska and Massachusetts, and the state of Maine is soon to be coming on, as well as other organizations across the country. So we're working very hard to field all the requests and get the data and get the ratings and reviews and make them all available to your peers across the country. So that's the status of the platform today. So I'm taking you to the next slide here, which also is a milestone in the development of Procurated across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So not only did you all come on board, you helped produce the function of the platform, you enabled the data to be available to your peers, but now we have a testimonial or a case study that has emerged out of Adams County. And you can see there's two parts to the testimonial. And as I read the text here, I see almost an evolution within the county itself. So if you look at that first sentence, peer reviews can be extremely helpful as they understand the government process for procurement, and they're able to provide helpful feedback on how the vendors perform. So the important piece of that, the part of that that makes me really happy, is the recognition that it comes from a vetted procurement professional. The folks leaving these reviews are very well accustomed and educated in the amount of the legal piece of your job and the amount of rigor that really goes into pulling off an effective procurement. That's no small task. You all do it every day, and you've invested in your professional expertise to do that. And now you're among a platform of peers who also understand that and have made similar investment. So the ratings and reviews that are on the platform include all of that expertise, and that's very important. The next piece of this from Adams County is that they've actually started using it within their process. We use Procurated as part of our new vendor vetting process by reading reviews to assist us in making informed decisions on vendor approvals. So as they're going out to select new suppliers, they're actually looking at the ratings. All of you are contributing, and some of those probably coming nationally as well, and taking those into account into the process. So the two pieces of this testimonial that we're very pleased about and thankful to Adams County for sharing with us is simply the leaving of the reviews, responding to an email or logging in when you have a few minutes, leaving a rating or a review on a known supplier or a new supplier. And then using that when you're going to make a purchase, checking out the suppliers, using the contract dashboard. How can you use that information to really reduce the risk and get some feedback on a purchase you're about to make? So thank you to Adams County for that. And in the future, when we meet with you, we hope to present a lot more of these testimonials and how y'all are using this and getting value from the platform. I included this slide, and this is a little bit of a briefer slide, but I wanted to sort of position this to let you know what we continue to do. So not only have you all come to the platform and started using it, but we want to evolve the service that we provide for you. And the electronic vehicle supply contract is a new ITQ that your CoStars team has been working with. It's a relatively new ITQ that's come out. There's 4 suppliers who have been vetted against it. And the first one, National Energy Solutions, is a participating CoStars supplier. So in the future, what we hope to see is these suppliers in the platform. We hope to see data against it. We hope to see this contract would be listed in the dashboard. And we're working, as this is an emerging piece of the platform, to be able to add contracts and data to you for future use. So excited to see this contract added to the CoStars portfolio, and I'm eager to see how it's used in the future. So that's just a quick mention. So that you know, we're going to go through a few actual live demonstrations, and that's what I hope to really focus on this morning in our presentation. When I send the PowerPoint out later, there'll be slides like this that represent screenshots of the demo, so you can use this with your team. But I also encourage you to simply go to the URL at the bottom of the screen there and claim your user ID or log in and look at all of these things for yourself. It's a very simple platform to use. Most of us are very versed in this type of function and using the platform, so training is almost self-subscribing there. You'll easily see how to use the platform. But the first use case we'll go through is the vendor directory. We'll search for a supplier, and I'll be able to show you what that looks like within the tool. The next one is we'll look at a specific supplier and look for a performance history. So this slide represents this. So when you look at it this afternoon, you'll see that. And I'll also mention that the reason they're blurred out is because it is a private community. So once the data goes out in the presentation, we want to hide that from the community. So here we are for the use cases. I'm going to take a minute and share my content from the actual platform itself, and we'll go through these use cases. So, works. So Michael is my colleague, and he also works with Procurated, and he works directly with the community team. So his role is much like mine, and he has actually been spending time working with the CoStars community and reaching out to them. So now you get to meet Michael, and he'll take us through the 3. I'll talk us through the use cases, and Michael can do them.
I'll point and click. Nice to meet all of you. Thanks for joining.
So here we are, you're looking at the home page here, or the opening page. So what we're going to do is perform a supplier search. So you'll see that Michael can go through that from the beginning. And we're going to search in Pennsylvania. And we're going to search for cleaning supplies. And you may have seen us demo a cleaning supplies search before, but one of the things I think is fun about looking at this more than once is that you see the evolution that occurs within the platform. So not only do you see cleaning supplies again, but you'll see that many different suppliers are now participating, and there's more ratings and reviews all the time. So you get to see a bit of an evolution there among the commodity category. So one of the other things I think that's really cool in the cleaning supplies search, on the side of the screen there, you can see the business designations. And in the platform, we have reflected those directly from the small diverse business designations from Pennsylvania DGS. So the suppliers that carry those icons are certified by Pennsylvania. So imagine that you're searching cleaning supplies and you'd like to participate from a women-owned business. So you can click on that women-owned business category and go, you can scroll down and see those providers that have cleaning supplies that carry that women-owned designation. So why don't we, maybe you can scroll up, Michael. There was one of these, the second one listed, I looked at before the presentation, and it seemed like they were a pretty strong supplier to look at. So that second one down, maybe you can click on that and we can view that one. There you go. So you can see that once you do the search, you see those suppliers that serve in that specific commodity. We've sorted by designation, so we see this company listed as a woman-owned supplier. When you click into it, you quickly see that we have information about the company listed there. You see that their CoStars enabled. You see some of their ratings and reviews, and you can scroll down to see what your peers have put into those categories. You can also see that some of these reviews are anonymous. So when you choose to leave a rating or review on the site, you can choose to leave it with your name on it, or you can contribute anonymously. Either way, it is a closed participation. So here we go. So let's go through the next one, Michael, and let's search for a specific supplier. So our second use case would be, we know the supplier we want to purchase from, and Michael, we'll use Comcast today. And we tend to use Comcast in our demos because there's a lot of reviews. It's a national supplier. They've served most of Pennsylvania, and the services are all familiar to us. So if you needed to, perhaps someone across your organization, we needed to increase bandwidth or purchase services from Comcast, you could join the platform and see how well it worked. So let's scroll down in the Comcast and you can see the different ratings and reviews. And you can see some of them are good. The other reason I like to show you Comcast is because not all the reviews are good. And that's always a question that comes up in a meeting like this, is what happens when the response isn't good? So if you look down, there's one that does say horrible service, Michael, if you can see it.
There it is.
Yeah. So imagine that I'm looking, I'm expecting to purchase from Comcast and I see that there was horrible service. I would be able to do a couple things. I could read that and then become educated on what didn't work. I could also use the platform to send a message to that anonymous reviewer and see how they remedied that situation. And that awareness may then help me manage to the same thing with my Comcast purchase. So that's what we have there. And we have many good reviews as well, which is important. So the third use case we really wanted to look at had to do with the contract dashboard. And I'm wondering if you're able to get to that, Michael. So the contract dashboard or the contract compare enables you to compare different CoStars contracts. So you can select, if you go to the pull down box there, you can select the contract that you want to look at. So can you choose something from the supply list there, Michael?
Yep.
Under select contract. Okay. So you can see that the different contracts are listed along with those suppliers. And you can see the different ratings and reviews for those suppliers. So this is really important because this piece of function was enabled because of the existing ratings and reviews. When they get to a certain level, we can produce these dashboards so you can look at performance by contract. So you can choose a CoStars contract you wish to use and then actually look at the suppliers that are listed within it. And as you scroll down, you get to see those suppliers and actually read those reviews. But you can see that the suppliers are rated by category. You can also see the number of ratings and reviews that went into each of those areas and take that into account. And then you can go down and read each of those ratings or click into that and view a specific supplier. So you're welcome to choose one if you want, Michael, and show what that looks like. There you go. So here we've chosen this supplier and we can see who's purchased from it. This data happens to be from Massachusetts, but yours will be Pennsylvania specific. And you can see the different organizations that have purchased from Massachusetts. So we've been able to develop a contract dashboard, and you'll see a screenshot in our PowerPoint when we send it later that has each of the CoStars contracts, each of the suppliers that are participating in them, and then the ratings and reviews against those suppliers for those contracts. So that's it's a pretty big milestone in the evolution of our partnership, and we're really pleased to be able to present that to you. And if you ever have questions about how to use it or how to make the best use of it, you're always welcome to email either Michael or I for that. So the last, and this is the shortest use case we have, just to prove the point that it's so simple to do, would be simply to write a review. So, oh, Felicia, I see you have your hand up.
I do. I was just thinking, well, first of all, thank you for showing us this part of the platform. It's the first time I'm seeing the contract dashboard. That's really cool. But I was also thinking about your Comcast demonstration. Sure. And thinking about how even a user could see that horrible feedback and maybe see somebody's good feedback that was posted, oh, let's say 6 months ago. Yeah. Maybe they could even call that or email that user that said that they had good service and maybe contact them to find out, okay, 6 months later, can you tell me what your thoughts are now with Comcast? Are you still experiencing something good with them, or have you had some issues to kind of temper those good ones to see if maybe it changes after a series of time?
That is exactly the spirit with which it was developed. And you can email that user, but you can also use the platform to send a secure message, right?
And that's what user. That's actually what I meant when I said email. Okay. That's not what I meant.
Still be an email, so you're accurate. And that's what I think the cool part about that is even if someone leaves that review anonymously, you still have the opportunity to follow up with them on it. And that seems like a really important item. So imagine even maybe it's a new purchase, or maybe you're going into a quarterly business review with a supplier. You can look at this feedback and, ask them about it, or you can ask the reviewer how it was fixed or handled or things like that. So it's very actionable when you're able to look at and access the content, and that seems really important as well.
Yeah. Felicia, and I want to call out to Ellen's point, being able to do that and have that dialogue and that conversation in the platform is important from a productivity standpoint in your process. So you don't have to go out of the platform to communicate and risk clogging up your email box or having to communicate and manage that in order to get the feedback that you need.
Right. That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So let me, maybe I can take control back, Michael, and we can look at the last few slides here in the few minutes that remain. Let's see if I can.
I stopped sharing.
Okay. So here we go. Can you see my PowerPoint?
Yep.
Well, that's wonderful. So here's our last few slides, and I want to leave you with these items. So Michael came out early in the presentation to help actually with the demo. You can see his picture here, and here's his email address. He's very focused on Pennsylvania right now, so feel free to reach out to him and use him and talk to him. If you need a similar presentation to your organization, we can do that. The other side of the slide here lets you know that Procurated is hiring. Our team is growing very quickly. So if you know of, or you have perhaps candidates or people that might be looking for work and they know a little something about procurement, send them my email. I love to have those referrals. And then the final slide is very, very important. And I've used the image of our homepage to sort of get the message home. So what do you do to follow up? It's very, very simple. Log into the website. If you don't have a user ID, we can quickly verify that for you. Sign up for the newsletter so you can follow all of the blogs and the news and the insight that's coming along from our team. Once you're in, you can search for suppliers. Give yourself a couple minutes to go in there and look around and poke around and see what's there. you can click that dashboard comparison tool from the top of the site itself and then search through the different CoStars contracts that are available and really look at what suppliers and your peers are doing with those contracts. And finally, leave a review for your suppliers. You can do that at really any interval. We will be, we follow up with emails and phone calls at times, but you are welcome to do that at any point that suits your schedule or that you feel you have something to produce for the site. That's really good. And that's the presentation for today. I really, really appreciate your time. I'm going to pass it back to Felicia and team so they can finish the presentation. And we look forward to hearing from you.
And I'm going to lob it over to Kim.
All right. And I took it. And now while I'm sharing my screen, wanted to see if anyone has any questions for Ellen or Michael before we finish up here. Okay. Can everyone see my screen? You see my screen, everyone?
Yes,
Yep.
sorry,
Okay,
Kim. Now
thanks.
we're back. Now it's back to your presentation.
Okay. Okay, if we don't have any questions at the moment, we'll just finish up here with a little bit of information that might be important to you. If you are interested in viewing this webinar in the future, the CoStars team records our webinars for on-demand playback by our members and suppliers. And these can be found by visiting YouTube. We'll send you the link to today's webinar sometime this week, but we also want to show you how to locate our recordings for future reference. You'll go to YouTube, www.youtube.com, type PACAST CMS in the search bar, and then click on the PACAST CMS link. There we go. In the secondary search area, type CoStars, then the CoStars selections will be viewable. Because we're recording today's session, this is where you can find the recordings in the future, but don't worry, we will also send you the link to the recording in our post-event follow-up email. So as I just mentioned, we will be sending that follow-up email in the next few days. So this is a good time for us to remind our members to keep their profiles up to date. And we know that staff changes often as people transition into new positions or move on to other opportunities. So we recommend that everyone verifies their member profile information today by going into the website, into the members area, and verify your primary contact is still current. Verify that the primary contact's email and the general email address are the same, or that the general email address delivers to someone who understands the CoStars program and its benefits to your organization. The general email address is very important because this is the address that we use when we send member alerts and other important information like our newsletters to our membership. If any changes are made to your record, you may not be able to save your updates without retyping your general email address and confirming it again in the organization contacts section. Also wanted to remind you that if you have a PO box as an address in your profile, please change this to a street address for your office. Our system automatically links your organization with your legislative contacts, and it won't work with a PO box. And then one last thing I'd like to point out in the bottom of the section there, we ask what information you would like to share with CoStars suppliers. You can select the method by which you would like to share your information, for example, your street address, your phone number, fax number, or an email address. You can choose one or all of them or none of them. That's up to you. Again, this is only shared with CoStars suppliers, and we encourage you to share one form of contact so suppliers can let you know that they are participating in CoStars or if they're offering special sales, discounts, or promotions to CoStars members. If you can't find an answer to a question in the many resources that are available to you on the CoStars website, the CoStars team is always here to help. You'll see our contact information here, and this will connect you to the CoStars team. So if an individual happens to be unavailable, if Felicia or I are not available for you to speak with, others are aware that you've reached out and they can help you. And we're also present on social media, and we post CoStars information once a week. So we thank you for joining us today, and at this time we'll open it up again for any questions you might have for Ellen or Michael, and you can ask those in the chat area. Also, Felicia is going to post a survey link in the chat area, and we ask that before you leave, you take a few minutes to complete the survey, because we appreciate your feedback, and this helps us when we're developing our future webinars. Thank you, everyone.
We're also available to answer questions about CoStars as well.
Anyone? Bueller? Well, as Ellen mentioned, we'll be sending out information about Procurated with contact information there as well. So you can always reach out to Ellen or Michael or to the CoStars team with any questions in the future.
And with our post-event email, we're also going to be sending a handout that Procurated has put together with some screenshots, so you can revisit the site and have a little handy document to help you through.
And I see a question from Sydney Baffa regarding when and if do you think prevailing wages will increase? We wouldn't be able to provide that information. I believe that would be through Labor and Industry if you have prevailing wage questions, but I can take that information down and make sure that's where you would, or who you would have to contact to find out that information. We'll get back to you.
Any other questions? Any more webinars for using CoStars? Yes. If you visit www.dgs.pa.gov/CoStars and then go under the program resources tile on the right-hand side, you'll see our event calendar. Within that event calendar, you'll see all of the webinars that we have planned for the year so far, and for all of them that have registration links that are open for registration, you can click on the title of the webinar and go right to the registration page from there. So I will put that website information in the chat while we're talking, so you can just copy and paste it. I hope that helps. And I think we'll hang out here for maybe just another minute. And if you have any other questions, you can raise your hand or you can post to the chat. And if we don't hear anything, then we'll sign off. But you can always contact us outside of this webinar.
Just want to take a moment to thank you both, Felicia, Kimberly, and thanks everyone for joining the session today. As I said in the chat, please don't hesitate to reach out to me via the email address that's in the presentation or my phone number. I'm happy to chat at any time or answer any questions. Greatly appreciate your time today.
Thank you for joining us, both Michael, and if Ellen is still with us, I'm not sure if she had to jump off or not.
Yeah, I think Ellen jumped.
We really have, we really appreciate your time today as well. In fact, like I said, seeing that dashboard with the contracts was really interesting since I haven't seen that before in the past. I think that's very helpful.
Yeah. And you see the breadth of the contracts that we have in there. I mean, that drop down menu, there's a bunch of them in there. So yeah, very helpful to you guys.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I'm not seeing any more questions coming across.
No.
I don't see that anyone's typing. So we're going to sign off and we will send you the post-event email by end of week or early next week. And you will have the link and all the handy resources. Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.